Hello and welcome to this video about HTML programming. Today we are going to study an HTML page called PictureViewing.html. So this is the file that we are going to study today, and in this page, or by studying this page, we will learn how to show pictures in an HTML page and how then to change the picture that is shown on the page. So, and we will change the picture by modifying an HTML elements attribute, and we are using JavaScript to do this. And also in this example we are going to learn how we can use the JavaScript arrays. My name is Kari Laitinen, and all these example programs and many other programs can be found at my internet site. So let's go to this naturalprogramming.com. So I have it already open here, and when you click this web icon, you will find this page, and here one link is simple HTML pages. And this PictureViewing.html can be found here, and if you just click the file name, it opens the HTML page. And this is quite simple page. So it is showing this picture here, and then there is one small button here, and by clicking the button it shows a different picture. And always when you click the button, it changes the picture, and when you click it many times, it comes back to the first picture. So this is the same picture that was shown at the beginning. So these are all pictures of famous paintings by famous, internationally famous painters. And if you want, well, we can take a look at this source code of this page. So if I control click it in Mac, I can see the page source. So the source code looks like this. And if you want to download this page, you can just go to the web programming, and you can go to this list of files, and then you can on a Mac you can control click and then do save link as operation, or in Windows you can use the right mouse button to do the same thing. So that if you want to, download this file to your own computer, so if you also need to download the image files to your computer, and the image files are located in this images subfolder. There are many files there, and you can, in the same way you can, as you download the HTML page, you can download these image files. I have already actually downloaded this file, but we can all these files, but I will download one more file. So let's take this Terminator 2 motorcycle dot. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like this. So I will download also this thing just to show how the downloading is done. So I control click it, or in Windows you would use the right mouse button, and I say save link as, and already I have this images folder there, so I will just store the file there like this. So I have already done all this downloading. I have done the downloading of the HTML file and the other image files, and I can then open it locally here. So if I just say file and open file, I can go to the place where I stored the HTML file, and then I just open it like this. And when I have all the necessary files downloaded, I can test the page locally on my own computer. So I have already opened. I have already opened the HTML file, the PictureViewing.html, in this Sublime text editor. So you can see that it is a little bit different here than it is here, so that the Sublime text editor shows the or highlights the source code of the file quite nicely, I think. So we can then just take a look at the source code, and I have the usual things here. At the beginning I have this line which specifies that this is now an HTML5 document, and then I have the HTML opening tag and head opening tag, and then I have the title opening tag and closing tag. And then I have these comments here. Well, it is quite useful to put some comments to HTML files as well. So I have some comments there, and the comments explain, for instance, that who has painted these pictures, or the paintings that are shown in the pictures. And then I have some style definitions, and notice that these are now inside the head element. I have some style definitions here, and I have some JavaScript. So the JavaScript starts here and ends here, and then the head element of the HTML page ends there. And then I have the body element, which is quite short. So the body element starts here and it ends here, and the whole page ends there. So the body element specifies then what is shown on the screen. And I have now, inside the body element, I have now two div elements. So there's this div element, and then there is this other div element. And both of these div elements, they are specified that they belong to class centered. And this centered means, or this refers now to the style definition. This word or name centered refers to the style definition, and in practice it means that it refers to this style definition here, which means that the element is centered on the screen centered horizontally. And this can be done when the text align is center and the margins are specified so that, because these margins now mean that this top and bottom margins are 16 pixels, and the right and left margins are automatic, and that makes this page automatically centered horizontally. So both of these elements are now horizontally centered, which means in practice that this button is horizontally centered, and also this image element, or actually the div element, is centered. So actually, when we take a look at this source code, inside the first div element we have a button, and inside the second div element we have an image element. So for instance, this image is now inside div element, which is centered. And also this button is inside div element that is centered. So that is the basic structure of the HTML page. And then here is the definition for the button. Starts here, ends here, and so that is the button element, and this specifies the text that is shown on the button, and this attribute here specifies the JavaScript method that will be called automatically when the button is pressed or clicked. So the JavaScript method named showNextPicture, which is here, will be executed when the button is clicked. And then we have this image element here. Image element. So the image element has an ID named image element ID, and then it has the attribute source, and that says that that specifies the image that will be shown when this page is loaded. And it also has this width element, which is now 800 points, which means now that the width of all pictures is set to 800. So it is important to note that when I load this picture, I can reload the whole page like this, and it always shows this picture, which is the file Yellow Field by Vincent van Gogh. So the basic structure of the page is quite simple, but then what makes this a little bit interesting is that we have this JavaScript code here, and the JavaScript, you have to think about this JavaScript, that when this page is loaded, these definitions are made. So here we specify an array, and here we specify a variable. And we can, one way to specify a JavaScript array is to use make an initialized array, so that this now is an array that contains the file names, and it is an initialized array. So when this page is loaded, the array is created and it is initialized with this data, and so that these are just file names. And notice that this specifies that all the files, they are located this in this folder named images, and then these are then normal file names, and they are JPG files, and all the elements are listed inside brackets. So here is an opening bracket and there is a closing bracket, and you separate these file names with the commas, and you put the semicolon to the end. So this is an initialized array that contains the file names, and then the picture index is set to 0 at the beginning. So this array and this variable, they are created when this page is loaded, but this function then, this JavaScript function, is then called only when it is called, which means that it is called only when the button is pressed. And what this function does is then that it always increments the index picture or the value of this variable by 1, so that well, at the beginning it is 0, but when you press the button for the first time it becomes 1, and then it later becomes 2, and so on. So it is important in this kind of program to check that the index doesn't become too big. So there is a possibility in JavaScript that you can check the length of an array. So each array has an attribute called length, and that says that how many elements are contained in the array. So that if the picture index becomes larger or equal to the length of the array, it means that the last possible index has been reached, and then we have to set the index back to 0. And this means that we when the last picture has been shown, the next picture that will be shown is the first picture in the array. So the order of these file names in the array specifies that in which order the pictures will be shown. And then, well, after these statements, it is clear that we have a good and valid index which we can use, and then we just must refer to the image element in the HTML. And this is done so that we use the ID of the image element. So you can see that the image element has this ID. So this ID, the name has been written or invented by me. So it has this ID, and then we use this ID here as a parameter for this function called getElementById. So this way we can refer to the image element in the HTML code. And then we can modify the attribute of the image element. and we can then write so that we write image element dot src, and then we refer to this array of picture file names, and we use this index. We use this index that was modified earlier, and we take one file name from there. And this way it will show the next picture that is listed in the array. So we can modify the attributes of image element. And we could take a look at this documentation of the so if we go to here to the web programming page, and I have here links to the w3school.com documentation, which is quite nice documentation about JavaScript. And for instance, if you want to get information about image element or which attributes you can modify in an image element, you could click this file by clicking that link you get to this page, and here you have a lot of links. And you can, for instance, if you go to the end and select JavaScript objects, you should be able to find HTML element objects reference. And you can, for instance, if you are interested in this image element, you could click this link, and well, these are called properties here. In HTML terminology, they are called attributes. And for instance, you find this src here, and it says that it sets or returns the value of the src attribute of an image. You can you can also see that there is this width element here, or width. So they are called properties, but they correspond to the HTML attributes. So the width sets or returns the value of the width attribute of an image. We could actually make here an experiment so that we could also modify the width, or we could do so that we could modify the source code of the page so that we would change the width value of the width attribute, and we could do it so that because now you can see that when I press this button, here is the local version, when I press this button, all pictures are of equal width. And the browser automatically adjusts, because these pictures have a different heights, and the browser automatically adjusts the height so that it corresponds to the width. So we could actually make a modification to this source code so that we could make an let's make this modification that we will make an different width for each picture. I have not actually tried this before, but we can try it here. I will specify a new array here, and I will put some integers here. So I will put exactly as many integers here as there are these file names in this other array. So I have 5 integers here, and now when I modify the source attribute of the image element, I can also modify the width element. So let's try it. Image element So now I refer to this other array here. It should take one integer from here and use it as a width for the image. And now, as if each picture has a different width, it should the way how the page behaves should change. Oh, let's try it. So I will save it first. I saved the file and then I'll just reload the page. I press the button, and as you can see, each picture has a different width. But why they are so small? And they are actually getting smaller and smaller. I reload the page. Oh, they are. I put so because the original width was 800. So and I use so small values here. So maybe I will just use something closer to the 400, 600. 1000 and 200. Let's try these. Now the pictures are a little bit bigger than at the beginning. But anyway, you saw that it's possible to modify also other attributes, and so that these names like this src here and this src, they correspond, and also this width and this width, they correspond. So we can actually, when we are executing these JavaScript statements, when we are executing, or when the browser is executing them, it is actually modifying this, or you can think that it is modifying this definition here. So this shows that we can with the JavaScript we can modify the existing source code, or its existing HTML code. So I think we have gone through this page, and well, summary is that what we have studied here, we learned how to show pictures in an HTML page, and we were modifying the attributes of an image element, and we also learned how to use arrays in JavaScript. So I thank you for your attention, and we will be back in some other video. So thank you and goodbye.